In this problem, we are going to find the percentile rank of a score. To do that, we are going to use the formula here. In order for you to use a formula, you need to know all the items in the formula, okay, such as the cumulative frequency below interval, the score, the lower real limit, the interval size, the sample size, and the frequency within interval. So you need to know all of those items in order for you to plug them into the formula. But if you look at the table of the frequency that is given to you, you are only given the intervals. So the X, here are the intervals. And you're given the frequencies. So you still have to find the other items, such as the cumulative frequency below interval, the lower real limit, the interval size, and the sample size. In order for you to find those items, first, you want to find the limits of these intervals. You need to find the lower real limit and the upper real limit of each interval. You also need to find the cumulative frequency of each interval. And after that, we are going to find the sample size, N, okay? All right, so let's start with the limits. You just need to subtract 0.5 from the number on the left. And to find the upper real limit, you just need to add 0.5 to the number on the right of each interval. So 45, the lower number here is 45. 45 minus 0.5, which is 44.5, and 47 plus 0.5, which is 47.5, and so on. So the next one, the next interval is 42 to 44. So 42 minus 0.5 is 41.5, and 44 plus 0.5 is 44.5, and so on. So the next limits will be 38.5 to 41.5. The next one will be 35.5 to 38.5. The next one will be 32.5 to 35.5. And then 29.5 to 32.5. Then 26.5 to 29.5. Then 23.5 to 26.5. And for the last one, it's going to be 20.5 to 23.5. Okay. Next, we are going to find the cumulative frequencies. So to find the cumulative frequencies, we need to look at the frequencies. And you want to start from the bottom up. So the first cumulative frequency is number 4, which is the same as the frequency. The next cumulative frequency will be 4 plus 7, which is 11. Then 11 plus 9 is 20. 20 plus 12 is 32. 32 plus 15 is 47. 47 plus 14 is 61. 61 plus 3 is 64. 64 plus 1 is 65. And 65 plus 1 is 67. So 67 is the last cumulative frequency. How do we know if these are correct? We can double check it. So the last cumulative frequency here should be the same as the sum of the frequencies. And we can check to see if it is the same as the sum of the frequencies. So let's find the sum of the frequencies. So here are all the frequencies in this column. And if you add them up, if you add all the frequencies up, what's your answer? 67, right? And it is the same as the last cumulative frequency, which is 67. So we know that our answers here are correct. Okay. If the last cumulative frequency is not the same as the sum of the frequencies, that means that we've done something wrong when we calculated the cumulative frequencies. And in this case, the sum of the frequencies is the same as the sample size, n. So n should be 67 as well. So we are looking for the percentile rank of the score 31 here, everyone. The score 31, okay, that's what we're looking for. And to do that, we need to determine all the items that you see in the formula there. You need to find the cumulative below, the cumulative frequency below the interval, the score, the lower real limit, the interval size, and the frequency within interval. So to do that, we have to look at the table and identify those items, okay? So the first item that we identified is this one, is the interval that contains the score 31. So the interval from 30 to 32 contains the 31, right? Because if you look at the numbers in this interval, it's going to be 30, 31, and 32. And you can see that the 31 is in that interval, okay? And if you look at the table, then that interval is right here. Is this one, okay? Next, we need to determine the cumulative frequency below the interval. So the cumulative frequency below the interval will be the 20 here, everyone. The 20 is below the interval from 30 to 32, okay? It's below that interval. And we got it as 20 already. And also we need to identify the score that we are looking for, the percentile rank 4, okay? And that score is 31 already, right? So we got that. All right, and then next, we need to find the lower real limit of the interval that contains the 31 type in the chat for me, everyone. What is the lower real limit of the interval that we are looking at? What is the lower real limit of the interval from 32 to 32? All right, good, everyone. So if you look at the lower and the upper limits of the interval 30 to 32, which is this one, right? Which is right here. So the lower real limit would be 29.5, okay? Let me erase so that it will not look confusing. All right, next, we need to determine the interval size. The interval size. What is the interval size in this case, everyone? Can you type in the chat for me? What is the interval size of the interval from 30 to 32? So the interval size. All right, I'm seeing one answer now. Yes, Uriel Merlot's good. Oh no, let me see. Let me double check. 32. But good try. Yeah, good try. All right, who has a different answer? Remember that the interval size is the upper real limit minus the lower real limit. So if you calculate it, what is the answer, everyone? So if you take the upper one, which is 32.5, you have to look at the limits, everyone, minus the 29.5. What's the answer, everyone? Right, I got Uriel. Who else got the answer? Sarah, Uriel. Good. Ricardo. All right. Merlot's good. It's 3, everyone. 3. So interval size, you want to use the limits to find it. Okay. But if you use the interval, the original interval, then you have to list all the numbers. Then you have to list 32, 31, 30, 31, 32. Okay, so it should be 3 numbers. So in this case, the interval size is 3. But I think the better way to find the interval size is by using the limits, the upper limit and the lower limit. Okay. All right. What else do we need to find, everyone, before we can use the formula? Type in the chat for me. What else are we missing? The sample size. Now, if you look at the formula right here, you look at the formula at the top here, what else do we need to find? Yeah, the sample size also. Yes, that's good too. Let's go ahead and just find the sample size. Yeah, the sample size, which is n. What is the sample size, everyone? Type in the chat for me. The sample size is the same as the sum of the frequencies. So what is the sum of the frequencies? Good. Yes, which is 67. Good, everyone. So make sure that you know that the sum of frequencies is the same as the sample size. Okay, good. All right, what is the last one that we have to find so that we can plug in the formula? If you look at the formula, what else we need to find? Good, Christopher. How about other people? All right, so we need to find the frequency within interval, right? Interval, okay. Good, everyone. What is it? Can you type in the chat for me? What is the frequency within interval? What is the frequency within interval of the interval 30 to 32 that we're looking for? I got Uriel. How about other people? Do you guys have a different answer? Brittany, Juan, Laith, Angela. Good, Meadows. Good. They're looking for the frequency. Okay, so you have to look at the frequency column. The frequency column is right here, right? It's right here. And you look for the frequency within the interval 30 to 32, which is this one right here. You can see that, the 12, okay? That's what you're looking for. So it should be 12. All right. So we already have all the items that you can plug into the formula. So let's go ahead and plug them in. Go ahead and try it for me, everyone. Plug those numbers into the formula for me. And then calculate it to see what you guys get. So the first one is the cumulative frequency below interval. Cumulative frequency below interval is 20, okay? And then plus the score, which is 31, minus the lower real limit is 29.5, and then divided by the sample size, by the interval size, which is 3, and then times the frequency within interval is 12, okay? And this whole thing is divided by what? Everyone type in the chat for me. The whole thing divided by what? I got Christopher's answer. All right, good, everyone. Divided by the sample size n, which is 67, good. And then you want to multiply the whole thing by 100, right? Since the 100 is right here, it's part of the formula, okay? All right, so I'm gonna give you 1 minute to calculate this. Go ahead and try it for me. But before doing that, do you want this to follow the order when you calculate, okay? So you want to start from this part right here. You want to start from the inside of the parentheses, right? And then divide and then multiply, okay? Before adding. And then after that, you can divide, okay? So, and the last step is multiplying by 100. So I'm gonna give you the answer. Laith, good. Who else got the answer? Good, Angela got the answer too. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the answer and then you can double check it later by yourself, okay? Make sure that you redo it to get more practice. So the answer would be, after you multiply it by 100, it would be 38.80, okay? And you can say that it's the same as the percent, okay? The same as percent. And if you convert it to the nearest whole number, then it would be 39, okay? It will be 39. So in this case, the 31, the score 31 here is in the 39th percentile, okay? Percentile. What does that mean by the score of 31 is in the 39th percentile, everyone. What does it mean by saying that? That means that, okay, I'm gonna draw this. So let's say if I represent all the scores on this number line by 100%, okay? Then if this is the half of it, this is 50%, where can I find the 39%, everyone? Where can I find the score 31? Is it to the left of the 50% or to the right? To the left or to the right? All right, Angela, how about other people? Yeah, sure. Since the middle one is 50%, then 39 should be somewhere over here, right? It's close to 40%, so it should be over here. Yeah, so it should be about 39%. Okay, so what does it mean by that? That means that the score 31 is higher than what percent of the scores, everyone? Higher than what? Higher than what percent of the class? Or of the scores in the class? If you see that 39% is to the left of the 31, then that means that the score 31 is higher than what percent of the scores that you are given here? It's higher than 39%, right? Of the given scores, okay? Of the given scores. You look at the percent to the left of the 39% or the 31, that means that the score 31 is higher than 39% of the scores that you're given. Okay, so you can also say that the score 31 is lower than what percent of the given scores, everyone? Can you guys tell me? If it's higher than 39%, then it's lower than what percent of the scores? If you got 39 already, 39% already, then what is the remaining percent here, everyone, to the right of the 39%? What is 100% minus 39? All right, good, Ms. Sarah. How about other people? Good, that's it. That means that the score 31 is lower than 61. So the percent to the right of the score 31 is 61%. Okay, so that means that it is lower than 61% of the given scores. Okay, that's how you understand a percentile rank of a number. Okay, all right. So what is the interval that contains the score of the 42? Everyone, what is the interval that contains that score? Can you type in the chat for me? Uriel, I'm seeing that. One. We're talking about part B right here, okay? All right, so you guys say that is 42 to 44. Let's look at the table to see if that is true, okay? See, I need to delete this one. All right, so if we look at the 42 to 44, 42 to 44, it should be this one, right? It should be this one, okay? 42 to 44, because the 42 to 44 will contain the number 4, the numbers from 42, 43, 40, what is that? Give me 1 second. I looked at the wrong one. Yeah, so that interval contains 42, 43, and 44, that interval, okay? 3 numbers. And you can see that the 42 is in that interval. So that means that in the table, it's gonna be this interval right here, okay? All right, good. Next, I'm gonna show you the formula as well. Next, we need to find the cumulative frequency below that interval from 42 to 44. What is the cumulative frequency below that interval, everyone? Type in the chat for me. This is the interval that we're talking about, right? This one right here. You guys said that it's 32? Am I looking at the wrong one? 42 to 44. Cumulative frequency below that interval is what, everyone? The interval, here I'm pointing it out again for you so that you can see it better. The interval that we're looking at is this one, everyone, 42 to 42, 42 to 44. So the cumulative frequency that you have to look at this one, in this column. So which cumulative frequency is below that interval? 64, everyone. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see with a lot of numbers. It should be 64. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so it should be this one right here. This one here is below the interval from 42 to 44. Okay. All right. Next, we need to determine the score. If you look at the formula, we also need to find the score as well. What is the score here, everyone? Type in the chat for me. Part B, what is the score? What's the score that we are looking for the percentile rank for? Yes, 42, right? This is the score, so it should be 42. Okay, good. And if you look at the formula, you also need to find the lower real limit of the interval from 42 to 44. What is the lower real limit of that interval, everyone? Can you type in the chat for me? We are looking at this interval here, everyone. So what is the lower real limit? Good. Yeah, so it should be 41.5. The number to the left of the interval with the limits. Good. All right. Next, we need to find the interval size. The interval size. What is the interval size here, everyone? Type in the chat for me. What is the interval size? All right, good, everyone. It's 3, right? It's the same as the interval size of number of part A, okay? Or you can also say that you can find it by the upper real limit minus the lower real limit. And in this case, the upper real limit of that interval is 44.5 minus 41.5, which is 3, okay? And you can see that you can also find it by listing all the numbers in the original interval here. So there are 3 numbers in the original interval. So it should be 3 as well, okay? But I think it's always better to use the upper limit minus the lower limit, okay? And we need to find the frequency within interval. The frequency within interval. What is the frequency within interval here, everyone? Within the interval of 42 to 44? What is it? I got Montserrat, Angela, Uriel, Gabriela, Mulos. All right, let's double check it. In this case, you have to look at the frequency column, right? The frequency column, and you look for the frequency that is inside of that interval. So it should be number 1 right here. It should be this one right here, right? Yeah, so it should be 1. Good. Oh, should be number 1. Good. And you also need to know the sample size n so that you can plug it into the formula. And what is it, everyone? What is the sample size? N. Got Merlos. All right, Gabriela, good. It should be the same as part A, right? So it should be 67. And remember that the sample size is the same as the sum of the frequency, okay? Good. All right, so how about I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to plug it into the formula and then calculate it for me and type in the chat for me. All right, you can double check what I just plugged into the formula to see if I got anything wrong, then you can tell me. So I would say that it should be somewhere around 95.77. You guys can double check it for me later, okay? But I think that would be more accurate. Some of you got the answers that are very close to it.